Massive game of massive importance and significance at Pittodrie last night, and some big calls, Des. Talk us through your reading of them, please.
Okay, so are we going with the obvious one first?
Well, let's start with the Nygren winner. Yeah.
So, like everyone, I think when I first seen it on TV at the time, I'm thinking he's offside when we first seen it to the naked eye. Then you see it again, you then cast a bit of doubt onto it. And the final bit that it came to, do you know the bit that got it to me to say that I think this is a correct decision? And I think it's because we're seeing, as Daniel's put on now, see this broken blue line? I think what they're doing there is they're anticipating that's where the foot would have landed should it have been or that's where the foot would have been had it been on the ground. And that therefore plays Nygren onside by a very, very narrow distance. But I've not seen that.
Is that
I've not seen that.
We're making up new. Look, I actually, and I said last night, I don't want anybody to get involved in tinfoil hat arguments here. If the line is the line, then I think we've got to just assume that it's factual.
Yes,
but when you're throwing in that they're making an assumption that that's where his foot would go, it makes me wonder.
So listen, it makes me wonder as well, because I don't like using this phrase, but we've seen before where they have guessed where the line should have been. We'll go back to the Livingston Aberdeen game previously last season. But like you, I do not want to see any conspiracy theories, particularly not this season, because how entertaining it's been. I don't think that there's anything that is untoward within our VAR, and I don't think there's anything that's untoward within the colours of power of the refereeing fraternity.
Listen, guys, let's stop you there, right? Because I'm with you in terms of untoward. If we mean biased or corrupted, I'm not buying any of that.
No.
I have got issues about competence.
Yes.
And the one thing that I was happy to stick to last night was, if the line is there, then we just take it as a factual. There's no room for argument. There's no room for subjectivity. It's a line. The technology works. Therefore, you can just rest assured. Even though your eyes might play tricks on you, even though a couple of replays you think that Nygren's offside, if the line is there, then the line is there for a reason. The technology makes it factual, and there's no grey areas there. It's black and white.
Yeah, you've got to.
If you're suggesting to me that there is an area here where there's an element of guesswork, and it's not factual, and it can't be taken to the bank as a black and white decision, that makes me really worried, given how badly some of the decision making has been when it has been subjective, even with the benefit of replays.
Yeah, and we've spoken about this before. We've spoken about it, and we've agreed that technology works. It's the people who are operating it and how they've been instructed to operate it. It's just the first time, and I seen Darryl put a tweet out earlier saying if you should know by now that.
By the way, that's Darryl Broadfoot, who's head honcho at the SFA in terms of public relations, and he responded to Peter Levine, the Aberdeen boss, saying, "Can't understand why there's only one line. I thought there should be two lines." Darryl had said quite clearly he thought everybody should have known by now. A little bit pompous of Darryl, but everybody should know by now if there's only one line, it's because the two overlap. And if that's the case, then the forward player gets the advantage. Happy to accept that as an explanation as well.
I just think that the way it's looked, because we've not seen this before. This is the first time that we've seen that image given. I can't remember seeing a broken line being put in before, but I understand it. I accept it, because, as you said, if we don't accept where the lines are drawn, then we've all given up. So, no, I can accept it. Naked eye, very, very different. On factual evidence, and I'm taking this as factual evidence, and I trust it as factual evidence, because that's all we can do. It's calibrated to tell us it's the best technology that we have available. So, yes, it's a correct decision, and Nygren has scored a legitimate goal.
Not wishing to nail you to the wall here, Des, but you did use a word earlier on, guesswork.
Well, that was my first view of it, yeah, because they're guessing they're drawing the line, that's correct. How can you tell that that's perfectly correct if you're drawing a line from the outside of a boot? So I've got to trust it. But in my first look, I'm going, how can you tell? Maybe that's just the cynicism in me, and I'm the cynic like everybody else. Let's be honest. Everybody has a bit of doubt. Who can be 100% sure? That was my first ego. How do you know that's exactly what it was? But I'm being the better man. I've got to trust them, and that's.
But you've thrown a curveball here at me, Des, because I just like to believe that, as I said earlier, the subjectivity creates a problem, because that means it comes down to human error and decision making. I like to, or I was comforted by thinking in terms of the lines for offside that it's just factual. There is no grey area. There's no room for argument with the lines. But now, for the first time, I'm sitting here wondering if I've got this wrong.
And I'm wondering if I've got it right or wrong. We're all wondering if I've got it right or wrong. I wasn't in Clydesdale House. I wasn't the one who was drawing that there. So you can only draw your own conclusions. But what I can say is the conclusion they've come up with, I have to accept. I've got to accept it, and I've got to understand that it's true. On that viewing, and if those broken lines come down to say that when the cross comes in, Nygren is in an onside position, absolutely, I can accept it. But, as I said, you think, wow, so close. But that, again, is the technology that we're using. It's not the same as the technology we've got in England, where it's 3D, and we can get a better, wholesome view of it. We're still using an inferior system to what other countries use, which may prove or disprove that this is right or wrong.
And just on that, Des, I mean, a lot of comments coming in. If you want to get involved in the conversation, please do so. Marzuno is one of a few people pointing out there's no angle where the ball and Forrest's foot can be clearly seen. It'd be impossible to change the on-field decision. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me. If you can't actually see that's offside, then how can you change it?
Well, you should be able to, because if you can't forensically say that was a differing opinion, then you've got to. But we have seen instances in the past where we have went against it, and I'll revert to the Livingston-Aberdeen game last year where they couldn't tell, so they did overrule the on-field decision.
Nice. I mean, that makes sense to me, Keith.
None of it makes sense to me, to be perfectly honest with you, and it hasn't done for some considerable amount of time. Look, I'm just a little out of my comfort zone here because I was the one last night that was saying, look, if the computer's telling you it's offside, it's offside. Whether you think it's right or not, whether, you know, I was making the point that VAR, I think cameras use a different angle from the ones that you saw on screen in your own living room last night. The angle I felt on Sky was made it look like it was offside. But I was perfectly happy to go along with, well, that's fine because they've done the calibrations, the cameras are in place. There's no grey area, as I said. It's a black and white, and now I don't know anymore. So look, do you know what? It was close as anything, and the chances are, when you put James Forrest into a game and you throw Nygren on from the bench, that one or both are going to do something that turns a draw into 3 points. And Celtic, that's where they are. That's where the whole conversation should be at. But unfortunately, we're getting dragged into this, and unfortunately, what I thought was a straight factual thing now seems to be an element of doubt about that, which will stoke some conspiracy theories, I'm sure.
I know it will stoke some conspiracy theories, and I'm like you. I've got to put my faith in the technology there and the people that are working it. So yes, I can accept it.
I can't put my faith in the people that work in it, Des, for the simple reason that they've made so many mistakes, so many blatant errors all season that they can't be trusted. I wanted to trust the computers. I wanted to trust the technology. And now I'm not sure that I can do that either.
Well, so that's exactly what I was about to come to. As I said, I want to put my faith in the technology and my faith in the people that are operating it. But you and I have had a long discussion and long things. I don't have faith in people who operate it because I don't have faith in the people who are telling them how to operate it. Because they can only work on the way they've been told to operate it.